Sharing some similarities to the images of crazy famous idols will of course help attract lots of attention, and even good reactions. However, just like the saying goes, too much of a good thing is harmful, as the similarities rise to the staggering level and the KOLs themselves gain bigger reputation from such an image, a scary criticism wave would rise to drown these KOLs. Number 1. Songjia copying Jennie. The most typical and probably most famous case that is worth topping the list is Songjia, whose reputation went through the roof overnight thanks to her feature on Single Inferno. Though Jia herself had caught lots of attention with her own charm, many netizens still believed she was like a mixed image of Jennie and Wonyoung. Appearance-wise, people said her face had the perfect look between a cute and sexy vibe, which was also confirmed by Jia when she did an interview on Single Inferno considering her short face, chubby cheeks but sharp jawline, high nose, full lips, and slightly slanted eyes. Besides, she also had the same mole position on the right cheek as Wonyoung, and if you follow her throughout 4 episodes of Single Inferno, you will also see she is super loyal to the iron straight hair, which is also the hairstyle that has been there with Wonyoung since the day she first appeared on Produce 101. However, beyond the visual that bore some similarities to Wonyoung, people still believe Jia reminded them more of Jennie, but it was all because she had been trying hard to recreate another version of Jennie in the way she led her life. For example, Jia initially established herself the image of a daughter born with a golden spoon, living in the most expensive neighborhood in South Korea, whose neighbors were Taeyeon and Baekhyun. Then Jia also impressed everyone as the Chanel and Gucci human, which was said to be another sign of her copying Jennie, as according to netizens. Besides, the fact that Jia would post photos of her wearing the same items as Jennie several days after Jennie's posts also consolidated the belief of her being a copycat. Just looking at some recent posts, people had already found a bunch of fits that Jia allegedly copied from Jennie. The pink Chanel cardigan, the vintage blue Chanel crop top, the woolen matching pink set from Calvin Klein, and the crewneck logo top from Chanel. However, do you know what is the biggest similarity that people found in all 3 of them? Well, just like how people are obsessed with Jennie and Wonyoung but also find every chance to blow things out of proportion to criticize everything they do, Jia bears the same fate, and it doesn't seem likely to change anytime soon. After the reputation that went through the roof overnight, Jia's social media skyrocketed. As of the time of this video, her YouTube had 1.9 million subscribers, and her Instagram had 3.7 million followers, way higher than the rest of the names on Single Inferno. Unfortunately, it was also this overwhelming attention that was believed to ignite the flame of jealousy in netizens, making them spend hours on Jia to find out her flaws. And as you've already known, they caught her red-handed in the sartorial selections she had been making. After looking through her crib, eagle-eyed viewers noticed the differences between the Chanel crewneck logo tops that she and Jennie wore. Then the allegations kept piling up, and according to netizens, the pink cardigan from Chanel was also a duplicate version of what Jennie wore, considering the misplacing of the buttons and the color of the fabric. Then every single item of clothing that she wore on Singles Inferno was brought under strict scrutiny. And as people deducted, the Dior top and Marine Serres dress were also fake, as firstly, the original brand didn't have them on sale, and secondly, the exact same things could be found on a Chinese e-commerce website with dirt cheap prices. Items she took photos to post on her social platforms were also said to be fake, ranging from the famous Van Cleef & Arpels necklace, whose positions of the chain were misplaced, and the red plastic dress by Saint Laurent. After that, you could see how Jia was met with fierce criticism right off the bat, and on every platform, from Nate Pan to Naver and The Coup. According to lots of people, Jia deserved the criticism, because there was a huge difference between using fake brands to promote a flamboyant lifestyle, then passing them off as the real deal, and buying the knockoffs for normal use. Moreover, netizens said that because Jia had always promoted the love yourself mindset, but ended up buying tons of fake items to impress others, to seek happiness from the validation of people, she should be bashed to stop that fabricating habit. Responding to the scary criticism, Jia deleted all Instagram photos and YouTube videos, and uploaded a handwritten apology letter to people and another apology video on YouTube. At this point, netizens started to react with mixed opinions. And on one hand, they said that Jia should be left alone because she had owned up to her mistakes. Moreover, as it was also her own life, there was no point in making such a big fuss over her wearing fake designer clothes with her own money, acting as if Chanel was going to go bankrupt over Songjia, and the world of fashion was collapsing over her shopping. Number 2. Alyssa Shin copying Rosé. Besides Jia looking super duper similar to Jennie, netizens also found out there was another lookalike KOL that bore a huge resemblance to Rosé's visual, Alyssa Shin. Of course, her fate also started on a bright note with that visual, but soon after that, criticism built up quickly, because many believed she was being a copycat of Rosé and tried to make money from recreating the original image. According According to netizens, Alyssa Shin was trying hard to copy Rosé, and the most annoying thing was that she always acted as if she was being herself. For example, Alyssa has been remaining loyal to the blonde hair, and most importantly, despite being a model, all of the poses she did from Instagram to professional photo shoots were extremely similar to Rosé. As time passed, people also found out more copycat habits of Alyssa. From buying the extremely similar wooden guitar to Rosé's, posting photos of her playing it since 2020, though her YouTube channel never had anything about her singing, which was extremely weird because people often posted cover songs on YouTube when they truly had passions for singing, posting a photo with a friend who looked super like to Lisa, only having long front bangs after Rosé constantly promoted it, and most recently, doing the extremely similar styling to Rosé's appearance at the event of YSL in November. Because of all these accusations, Alyssa has been receiving lots of death threats, blackmails, stalking, and even harassment from netizens. The criticism was so big that she had to post a long explanation that she was born that way, barely knew who Rosé was never trying to copy Rosé, and wouldn't change her style just because of everyone's complaints. Even when there were defending opinions saying Alyssa was truly being herself, and those who hated her were toxic blinks, her Instagram was still filled with lots of hate until now. According to many, Alyssa at this point was being fake and always pulled the victim card, because they found her old photos, which were all deleted after people said she looked like Rosé, have nothing to do with Rosé's visual. Number 3. Crystal Kim copying Irene. While Irene is currently the perfect standard of South Korean beauty for her impeccable visuals, in 2018, people were all shook to discover that there was a doppelganger of her in the KOL world, Crystal Kim. Probably for those who don't know much about Irene, they will mistake the leader of Red Velvet with Crystal Kim and have an exhausting time distinguishing the two girls from each other, as regardless of camera angles, Crystal still looks almost identical to Irene. She even had the same facial ratio as Irene, and because she's a makeup artist, people are also often left in awe because she always appeared flawless as a real K-pop star. However, it was also because of her career in some videos where she taught people how to recreate the look of Irene that netizens started to criticize her for using Irene's image for clout. Some were even angry to the point of mocking her, saying that she indeed looks like Irene, but with more fat on her face. On the other hand, there were also people standing on Crystal's side, saying that she was being herself because, besides those Irene-inspired makeup tutorials, she also did lots of other makeup styles. Moreover, her daily vlogs also showed she never tried to copy the personalities or the fashion of Irene, so criticizing her harshly only proved people were jealous of her reputation. So do you think these KOLs were being the copycats of idols? Or were they truly staying true to their colors? Comment down below to share your thoughts with us. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BeBoss TV for more interesting K-pop content. Thank you for watching.